Ellsworth brightened at that. "I suppose you'll be driving down in your new motor car." "Yes. Gino will drive it, of course. He's got it running perfectly, which I understand is quite a challenge." Malloy's partner had taken quite an active interest in the motor car and its inner workings, which was fortunate because Malloy had no interest whatever. "Oh, yes, those machines are quite unreliable, or so I've heard. I don't know why anyone would bother with them if they could have a horse. But if Mr. Donatelli is with you, I guess he won't be available to do the first step either." "Could Mr. Pritchard do it? Or Harvey?" "Oh, no. They're both too fair, even if they'd agree. The first stepper must have dark hair, and I have a feeling neither of them would take it seriously in any case, especially Harvey." Sarah had to agree, but she chose tact instead. Young men often don't take much of anything seriously. "Yes, and Harvey is a bit spoiled, I fear. As for Mr. Pritchard, just between us, he isn't the easiest man to tolerate either. When he gets started on the subject of milk, well, you can just see from her expression that Mrs. Pritchard would like to murder him." "I would only do this for Mrs. Ellsworth," Malloy said, as he crossed the street with Maeve and Sarah to their neighbor's house that Friday evening. Sarah laid her head on his shoulder in silent thanks as they walked arm in arm. "I'm sure Mrs. Ellsworth would be gratified by your devotion," Maeve said with a smirk. She'd dressed with particular care this evening, but Sarah couldn't imagine she wanted to impress Harvey Pritchard. No, Maeve would have a deeper plan. "I'm just repaying a few debts," Malloy insisted. "Mrs. Ellsworth has helped us with a case or two." "And she saved my life once, which I'll never forget," Sarah said. "So that explains why Malloy and I are here. But why are you going, Maeve?" "Just to be neighborly." Maeve smiled as if butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, but Sarah wasn't fooled. "You don't have your cap set for Harvey Pritchard, do you?" Sarah asked in mock horror. "Not likely." Maeve had attended the wedding, too. Sarah needed another minute to finally figure it out. "You told Gino you'd been invited, didn't you?" Sarah and Malloy had often discussed his partner's infatuation with Maeve and her apparent enjoyment in tormenting him. "I may have mentioned it." "Poor Gino," Malloy muttered. Sarah had to agree. She had an idea that Maeve's account of the coming evening would include marked attentions to her from Harvey Pritchard, whether such attentions actually occurred or were even welcome. They had reached the Ellsworths' house, and Maeve preceded them up the porch steps to ring the bell. Nelson Ellsworth answered the door and welcomed them. The Ellsworths didn't have live-in servants, just a daily maid who was probably busy helping Mrs. Ellsworth with the dinner. "Mother and Theda are finishing up in the kitchen," he said when he'd taken their coats. He escorted them to the parlor where the other guests were gathered. "I believe you know my in-laws, Mr. and Mrs. Pritchard, and their son, Harvey." The Pritchards were seated on the sofa, and Harvey lounged beside the fireplace, his arm draped in what he probably imagined was a debonair pose on the mantelpiece. "And Mr. Donatelli, of course." Mr. Pritchard was slow to rise at the entrance of the ladies, but Gino jumped up immediately, smiling a little too smugly. Sarah glanced over just in time to catch Maeve's astonished expression before she recovered herself. "Gino," Sarah said quickly, "how nice to see you." And what a surprise, although she didn't say that. "Yes," Maeve said through almost gritted teeth. "You didn't mention you would be here." Gino shrugged inside the tailor-made suit Malloy had insisted he get when they started their detective agency. "I haven't been invited yet." "Mr. and Mrs. Malloy," Mrs. Ellsworth greeted them as she entered.